Hello everyone and welcome to my first sketchbook tour. This actually isn't what my sketchbooks usually look like because this is a study sketchbook. So let's start the tour. We start off with some koalas. I only quite recently got back into the proper self-taught education. I have a lot to catch up on and there's just a lot of things I didn't know how to draw. And because of that, I decided, okay, I'm just going to write down everything that I've never drawn before or need practice drawing that would be useful down the road to know how to draw. This book, as I said, is not in order of any kind. I just wrote a list of some random prompt ideas that I thought would be worth learning. And then I wrote them into the sketchbook and I filled them in no order, so you can see my quality or my process really jump back and forth in this. It was very important to me to practice drawing some different ethnicities and just different hairstyles, for example Afro-textured hairstyle, because white people like myself kind of often have the tendency to mostly draw white people or to draw very whitewashed versions of people of colour, and I really want to avoid doing that. I really want to give better representation where I can, and so that's the reason why I try to give diverse body types, give diverse faces, hair, and also try to practice how to draw disabled people. Just all those are very important and near and dear to my heart. Especially all of you who struggle with same face syndrome. Just studying different faces and different body types, etc. is going to help you out so much, and it's going to be very meaningful to creating a more open and better world, basically. So no pressure. And yeah, there's just all kinds of things in here, really all sorts of topics, very random. And just, people in profile, people sitting, people doing chores, certain types of dresses, just anything I thought might be useful, and foreshortening and stuff like that. It's just a whole chaotic mix of things that I just felt I was lacking. Obviously there's a full page dedicated to Janelle Monáe, because why wouldn't I? She's perfect and amazing and I love her to death. Absolutely everything in this sketchbook is based on photos or some sort of graphic. Absolutely everything, except for that odd blob page that I'm not sure why I planned to add that in the book, in the sketchbook. I'm not sure why I did that, but it's in there and it's just random blobs made into creatures or things, that little challenge, but yeah, it's not really, doesn't fit with the rest, but oh well. And there's some bodies and face expressions from the reference pack from Jazza, who's on YouTube. You can purchase them through his site. I love the building page of the Georgian houses because the left page is just the very first sort of sketches I did in the book, and the right page is quite far back, like very late, and you can, I think, quite well see that there is some improvement, which makes me kind of proud. For this sketchbook, I just used a fairly cheap sketchbook that I got in Brussels because it's really not about having good paper, and I just used my ballpoint pen, which is not just because ballpoint pens are cheap, but also because they're a great tool to make sure you don't spend too long on perfection. If you have a pencil, often it can lead to you just redoing it over and over again. And using the ballpoint pen really made me confront my perfectionism and just roll with it. I think one of my favourite pages is the screen cap redraw page. Do you know what the shows are? Can you recognise them? They're two of my absolute favourite shows. On one of the sitting pages, there was two completely random, completely unconnected men sitting, and I accidentally drew them together, and they look like they're on a date, and that's so cute. The pages with the different ethnicities are obviously not at all representative of those regions. It's just like 5 people per page, so obviously that's not a large sample size, but it's just a start for me to have a bit of practice. I'll definitely expand upon drawing all these different wonderful faces. It was a really fun practice. You might recognize some people here and there. Leave me a comment if you recognize some of the people. I've already mentioned Janelle Monáe. She's not just on the one page, she is on several pages. So let me know if you spot her on other pages too, and everyone else that you might recognize. I've got the wonderful Angelina ALB in Wonderland, I think 3 times in here, because she just makes amazing pictures. Like, she's just very stunning. And her wife, they're just such a power couple. Like pastel and goth wife golds, absolutely. On one page you can see sort of messy sketches, which is quite intentional, of movement. And the movement is Tessa Thompson practicing for, I think it was Thor. And I just screen capped stills from a video on YouTube and then drew them of her in motion fighting. It was definitely a struggle to finish this book. At the end I was really like, okay, I'm really ready to be done with this, just because it feels so nice to finish a sketchbook. And I'm definitely gonna keep doing studies, or I have kept doing studies because it took me a while to film the sketchbook tour, but I'm not sure how often I'll be doing just a sketchbook just of studies. Probably just sprinkle them in with my regular sketchbook, but it was really useful as a beginner to just have this sketchbook for 3 months or whatever and just completely dedicate myself to learning these things that I set out to do, and it really let me learn a lot in a short amount of time, I feel like. So I definitely recommend it. And so at the very end I had a checklist of all the prompts that I'd completely randomly written out for myself, and I was able to check it off every day till I was finished. And that's the end of the tour. Thank you so much for sticking around. I hope you enjoyed it. Obviously it was just a bunch of studies, maybe not the most creative sketchbook, but hopefully it was a bit interesting still, and maybe something some of you will try as well. Have a great day and see you next time. Let me know if you want to see any other sketchbook tours. Bye bye!